Welcome to Beautifully Unfiltered, the Purple Runway Podcast. The Purple Runway Podcast is about breaking the silence, honoring truths, and creating honest conversations that lead healing and advocacy and empowerment. For too long, the stories of domestic violence, especially those rooted in trauma, silence, and survival, have been hidden behind closed doors, and we're here to change that. So welcome to Beautifully Unfiltered, the Purple Runway Podcast, and let's walk with purpose together. Hello everyone, Gigi here, and I'm really excited for you all to be at this inaugural podcast of Beautifully Unfiltered with Gigi. If you guys know, this will be my second episode, and initially I definitely wanted to invite people that were really close to me and knew some things about me and in different ways. So this episode, we're featuring someone that's extremely a part of my life, because during my hard times and some things that I went through with my family, he stepped in. I met him off of this particular online site and to get therapy. He is a master therapist. I don't even know if there's a thing called master therapist, but he's a master therapist. And during some of the times that I was going from one season to the next, and I was having such difficult times, he popped up into my life. He didn't even live here, but he ended up moving to the DMV area, and I'm so excited that he's here. And without further ado, I want to introduce you to the one and the only Stephen Murphy.
Thank you.
How are you today?
How do I follow up with that?
No, you're helping me. You just bring that good energy to me where I can feel more comfortable in so many ways. How you doing? I'm so glad to see you.
Likewise. Anytime we get together, it's always a good time, right?
Yeah, definitely. Good time. Yeah, we can say good time. Until you check me, you know.
Growth opportunities. That's
right.
That's how I like this phrase.
I love it. Stephen, please tell everyone a little bit about you. We're going to put that information in the description, and then we're going to talk about the topic matter at hand. Self-rescue strategies for those of us that may be in the wilderness, and then we'll have just some conversation from there.
All right. I'm Stephen L. Murphy, originally born in the great state of Alabama. Have a large family. I have 8 siblings. A lot of people always ask, like, how am I? I don't think I'm good with people, but people seem to think I am sometimes. They say, how are you so good with people? And I say, I grew up in chaos. I always ask, can you imagine 9 children in a house, right? So you learn how to deal with a lot of people with a lot of personalities very early on. And so that's kind of like my family. And professionally, I graduated from the University of Alabama in Birmingham in social work, then went on to the University of Alabama for Masters in Social Work, Roll Tide, and I had the opportunity to work with some amazing people that I think have helped me grow as an individual. Fortunately, I have the opportunity to work with people and learn from people. As I tell all of my clients, it's not me teaching you, it's us teaching each other, because in your life experiences, I'm going to learn, and in mine, you're going to learn. So having the opportunity to collaborate to help people become who they want to be, that's my goal. I do think that a lot of individuals in today's time, kind of going along with the topic, we're lost, right? We're trying to figure out which way we go, how we get there. And it's good to be able to have individuals to kind of help navigate that. I know that throughout my lifetime, I've had a lot of people to just chip in. My dad transitioned when I was 14. That was unexpected. And spent the good part of my teenage years and early adulthood figuring it out, right? Figuring it out. And in that, I learned that there's no blueprint to life. And you just, every day you wake up, you set your goals, and you figure it out. And as I always say, you have to go back to the drawing board a lot of times, and just go to the drawing board and find something that works until it doesn't work anymore. So
And you figured it out really well.
Oh, Lord.
Really well, because as I said, you just make me smile, Stephen, because I just remember, going through that particular season, and you were, even to this day, I can share anything with you. And that is something that, as you know, being a survivor, that's something, that kind of trust is only limited for very, very few in our lives. And I just remember meeting you on the little screen, what is it called, laptop screen, and every week we were there, and you would challenge me in ways that I knew I didn't want to challenge myself at that point. And some things that you told me, I kept kind of push back and push back and push back. But that's why I say right now, with us sitting here like this, you push me to this unknown season for me. Because there's other seasons, like I kind of knew certain things, and I kind of went through and was like, yeah, I got this, it's going to be hard or whatever. And then I hit that particular chamber, as I call it, of my growth. And then it was kind of really being stuck. And then talking to you and you helping me put the pieces in place was just, it's immeasurable to me, because that's what's getting me here. Right now, I don't have the answers. I'm sitting here and I'm going through this, and this is something that I didn't want to do, because as you know, I was like, why can't I be a faceless brand? I didn't want to do this, but growing and understanding that the way people want connection to someone's personality and who they are is because of you. A piece of you and a piece of, various different ways is helped me get here. And I really thank you for that.
Look at it. We learn together, right?
We learn together. Yep. So with that and understanding, so is a part of the topic of the conversation is about being in the wilderness. And right now, as I said, I'm kind of coming out of the wilderness. And so that's what I want to talk to you about. So we can give our viewers some nuggets and some tools with your expertise. And a lot of times we have to self-rescue, because as I've shared and as we know, a lot of people cannot, afford a great therapist for a length of time, because everything is sky high right now, and there are ones that do great work like you. But at the same time, what would you say, I guess my first question is, when someone is feeling emotionally disconnected and lost, overwhelmed, or stuck, what does self-rescue actually look like in real life?
So self-rescue, right? In therapy, you hear the word coping a lot. That's what you're going to hear, right? How do you deal with what's in front of you, right? And I think we learn through that how to get through hard times. When we think about self-rescue, kind of thinking about a person in a fire, right? You're in the fire. The firefighter shows up. They first attempt to rescue the individuals, then they try to put the fire out. So when you think about self-rescue, it's about taking action. Coping sometimes can be about like just maintenance and getting through and masking and avoiding. But when you think about rescue, you think about action. And so a few things that I think that should happen when you're self-rescuing is, number one, you have to be aware of the problem. A lot of people sit in circumstances because denial is something that is big. And as we know, growth typically happens as a result of some unwanted outcome. Most people, let me not say most. A lot of people are not just sitting around saying, hey, how can I be better?
Right.
In most cases, a lot of people, as long as this is not on fire or this negative thing isn't happening and my life is just going smoothly, I'm going, right? I'm just okay.
Yeah.
And so self-rescuing is about recognizing that there is an issue. A lot of people don't think about disconnect, right? They don't think about isolation. They don't think about depression. They don't think about anxiety being something you need to rescue yourself from, because it usually happens subtly, right? Most times those feelings come, I'm feeling bad today, then tomorrow I'm okay. Then a week goes by and I'm still okay. And then I hadn't talked to my family, I hadn't talked to my friends in a while, and before you know it, you're surrounded by no one. And you're isolated. and you don't recognize it, and because it's just you getting in your routine, whether it's busy with work, taking care of family, as in my case, taking care of a sick dog. Chico, we love you. We love you, Chico. Taking care of him. And it's one of those things where you have to recognize it, and you have to figure out kind of what the issue is, and you have to look deep within yourself. I do believe that all of us possess tools to be able to overcome anything that we're faced with, but it's about, do I want to be disciplined enough to actually engage those tools in my own success? A lot of times that we get to a point where fear kicks in. And
a lot of times.
We don't know. Yeah, we know what to do, but we're afraid to do it. That's because right. I kind of know what the past has gotten me, but I don't know what the future looks like. And if I step out there and I'm not successful, then I'm already dealing with an issue. So guess what? Failure, quote unquote, and I don't like the word failure. I think everything that we accomplish or we don't accomplish is an opportunity for growth, and we use it next time. And that's one of the things that I've always, in my life, I've always had to...
Let's stop for a second, sorry. That happened.
Oh.
I apologize.
No, you're fine.
I just can't have that. I'm going to have you talk again about what you wear. Like, go back to that. And I will cut it and paste it.
You okay? How far back?
You can go to your dog.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that.
So if you're like me, then you're busy taking care of Chico, who's recently got diagnosed with diabetes. So that's been a change for me. And you know I love Chico.
Yes, I know you love Chico.
Chico's been with me 10 years, and
you argue with Chico, so like Chico can hear you.
We argue with each other every day. At 5:30 in the morning, he's in my ear every morning like clockwork. I used to be 6:30, but when daylight savings time came and time went up, he wakes up early, so he gets me up now. But having to just adjust to that on top of working full time, on top of counseling part-time. So it's just, we sometimes can have a lot going on that we don't recognize that these things are happening. And so I'm of the belief that when our friends and families really do a good job of encouraging us to take breaks, or sometimes, of course we have people on the outside looking in, then they can see more than we can. And so it's an interesting time we're in, because everybody thinks everybody's hating on them, right?
Yeah.
And nobody wants to see them successful.
Yeah.
But it's more so about, sometimes we see things that others don't. And so when it's brought to my attention, what do I do about it, right? Do I shut it down? Am I guarded?
Yeah.
Or because I'm not in a place that I can see, kind of like you said, I would challenge you sometime, and you push back, and you're like, and I would be, I still said it. And you would come back and say, I thought about it last week, and you know what, you're right. And it's one of those times where we have to take the information and try to do something with it. So self-rescue, and it is about, in my opinion, about actually doing something and recognizing when something's off. Nobody knows us like us, right?
Yeah.
People can be on the outside looking in, but when it comes down to you and what you know you're accustomed to and how you feel and what you want, you know that. As I used to always tell your sessions, I have things I want to talk about, but if you have something more pressing, then my stuff gets kicked to the curb, right? And I'll find some way to tie it in based on the things that you have going on, or we'll deal with it at a later time. So we have that awareness plays a huge part in taking action. And actually being disciplined.
That's one of the harder parts, because I even said, when I was able to start doing this podcast, I was like, this is for a year. Am I going to be able, because it's new. It's not that I didn't want to do it, and I knew this is where I needed to step into, but am I going to be disciplined enough to be able to finish it, because I'm such a private person? Growing up as a military brat, and I think I've told you this, is being a military brat and being overseas as a child, and we were briefed. This is what you don't do, this is what you don't say, this is what you just don't talk. It was during the Cold War. And so everything, as far as being on foreign land, you don't share things. So that's was a part of my upbringing too. You don't share. It's, you're under the DOD rules, and that's just the way it is. So it was okay. It wasn't like, but as you get older and as you get and doing things, and you want to help people and you want to encourage people, you have to step out of what your comfort is. So right now, I'm doing something to self-rescue right now. Right now.
And you changed the world in the process.
Oh my goodness. But
I remember when we first met, you kind of tell me about the work that you do, and you were saying, I don't want it to be about me. I wanted to reach people. I want to touch people because I believe in what I'm doing. And again, that plays a huge part in our desire to show up and do. And so when you talk about self-rescue, this is a challenge, meaning this is what I've always been, what I've always dealt with. But you know what? A change needs to occur. So what are you doing? You're challenging yourself to grow through it. Yeah. And so before you know it, you'll be to reach the world. But
that's through the work that you helped me through. And even trying to get through some of the things like recently that I might not have thought that I could get to, I still go back to the tools that you gave me. Sometimes I have to sit with stuff. They say write things down. Yeah, and not put it in your notes. That might work for some people, but I have to feel it. I have to write it down and pick up those tools that you told me. Now, let me ask you this. How do people, as much as I believe in self-rescue, and someone is going through ups and downs, and how do they know where to start to self-rescue?
So it's interesting, right? Mm-hmm. Typically, when we identify a problem, we have a solution. That is the one thing that I know about.
You might not want to like it.
Right. The people I work with, myself, family, we have the solution. Mm-hmm. The issue is going back sometime to that discipline, right? Mm-hmm. So for instance, I'm on a weight loss journey. Mm-hmm. This is funny because everybody's told me all my life I've been skinny. And my youngest sister, she encourages me. I tell her she fat shames me all the time.
Oh, wow.
But since I've
been the biggest one in the family.
Right. Since I've been here, I've gained. Since I've been in Maryland, I've gained like 35 pounds, and that was and it was over like a few months, and I've always kind of been stuck at my high school weight all of my life up until like last year. So I'm getting older. I'm getting these body pains. I tell people that I remember being a kid and saying, "Well, I can't wait till I become an adult." And I say I can cut my tongue off every time I ever said that because ain't nothing over here but responsibility, body pain, and unexplained, just everything. And so when we talk about the solution, right, I know that I need to work out and I know I need to eat better. Mm-hmm. And so problem, solution.
That's solution.
Now the issue is finding the time to eat better, because I do like to cook.
Shop better.
Right, shop better, eat better, and actually exercise. And over the last month or so, I did get the exercise together, but I'm still working on the eat because I'm from the South. I'm from Alabama. We like it. We like the pig. That's just what it is, right? And so I'm working on that. So just like with everything else, right? We have the issue that comes, and we have the solution. Now, a lot of times, going back to discipline, we're having fun. Usually all the stuff that we shouldn't be doing, we're having fun with it. And do I really want to give this up because it has a potential to cause me to lose people, to lose resources. It can cause us to lose a lot of things. So we go back and forth sometimes about whether I want to actually be disciplined enough to do what I know I need to do, or do I stay where I am.
But most people stay where they are.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm big on just trying.
Exactly.
I'm a person. I tell anybody that knows me, they'll tell you, I will not live a life of regrets.
Right.
I will not I would tell everybody I want to live 100 good years. So I want to be the old man that's,
Me too.
excuse my language, but raising hell.
I know, me too.
That's right. That's what I want to be, right?
I want to be 100 still. I don't twerk, but I want to twerk.
There you go.
At 100.
Look, there you
I
go.
want to show you how to. It's how we used to do it.
I don't know what music will be then because it's changed so much since I've
it'll be AI.
Right, but I'm sure. But that's what I want to be, that person, and so I don't want to live a life full of regrets. Right. Everything that I've wanted to do, whether I've been successful or failed, quote unquote failed.
You can't even say that word.
Or had a growth opportunity. Yeah. I'm happy to be able to say anything that's ever come to my mind, I have attempted. Yeah. I love politics. I love government. I love all of that. And before I left home, I ran for a public office.
I didn't know that.
Never done it. Never thought about it. Just it was a crowded field.
It wasn't in my own
district. But I believe that in government, and I believe it works when you have the right people in charge. Yeah. And so I wasn't successful doing that, but I learned a lot. And I got it. I'm not going to say I got it out of my system, but it's something that I wanted that I went after. And that was probably one of the larger goals I've had in life. But yeah, when I close my eyes for the final time, I want to be able to say everything that I wanted to do, I did.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I know I've tried. It's no shame if you try and you don't get there. Definitely, I'm with you totally on that, because it's still things that I try to do, and I'm like, you know what, I want to, matter of fact, I want to walk a mile every day, literally. Yeah. I don't walk a mile every day.
But you walk.
But I walk.
There you go.
Right? But I walk. And sometimes, I keep my steps on. I usually have my stepper on here, and when I hit those 10,000 steps, you can't tell me nothing. But I'm not a walker. But I know I need to do it at minimum every day but I will, on the other hand, I will sit in silence. I will do deep breathing. I will stretch in the morning. So sometimes I feel like, I've done enough. But I know that it's on my peripheral, and every morning my goal is still, and it's been there for a while, is to wake up in the morning, do what I usually do, but walk a mile every single day, because I want to be 100 twerking.
That's it. Listen,
I'm going to teach the class.
There you go.
Teach the class at 100. I got to learn how to twerk for real.
Well,
I'm going to teach the class at 100.
The older, more seasoned, experienced individuals that still do a lot of dance.
Oh yeah, that's one of my tools.
One of my good friends' mom, she is she's part of a dance group, and I think they do line dancing. But she sent me videos, and I always tell her, I say, you get it going. But yeah, just doing it, like literally just stepping out there and getting started. And sometimes goals are important, because I feel like goals make our decisions a lot easier, whether we recognize it or not.
They do.
And if I think in general, like if you set a goal, then when you're faced with a decision, whether it's you want to participate or not, or engage in it or not, 2 questions. Does this decision push me closer to my goal, or does it pull me further away? Yeah. And if it pushes you, you already know the answer is to do it. Yeah. If it pushes you further away, the answer may be no, but not right now. Away. Right? Yep. And so goals are important when you say you want to walk a mile a day. It's not, and that's why I brought up, like, you walk, right? It's not about sometimes getting it all done in that moment, but if I just get started and build a habit and I build a routine, then before I know it, I'm doing 7 miles a day.
That's right. And not to be hard on ourselves. Yeah. I had to learn that. I had to learn, if I didn't do something or get to something that I say I was going to do because of real reasons, I was still very, very hard on myself. Very hard. And internally, me removing that, because if I say I'm going to call you tomorrow and I don't call you until 3 days from now, I don't feel bad. Because my intention was good. Always know my intention is good. But even something that small, it would bother me. Well, I told her I was going to call her, And I think that might be a part of the people pleasing in a certain way. When I said I was going to, I'm not going to say you, but when I say I was going to do something and I wasn't able to follow through for whatever reason, I would explain myself, and I could feel my anxiety going up. right?
Well, you probably avoided people, so you
Yep.
wouldn't have to explain it, right? Like,
Yep.
that's how we
Yeah,
do, right?
that's true. That's
and that's
true.
one of the things, like, when we think about that, it's not about, I do believe in structure. I believe in discipline, but I also believe in flexibility. My first job out of undergrad, and I believe it or not, people tell you, I used to be timely. I used to be like very structured, and if we said this, it needed to happen. Like, and then I started working for the Department of Human Resources. They called it this Child Protective Services, Child Welfare in Alabama is what we call it, DSS in Virginia. And I would plan my days, and everything I planned to do, within 2 minutes of getting to work, the whole day was
wiped. Yeah, the whole plan was
washed,
just
right?
washed, yeah.
And I found myself getting upset because I was like extremely structured. I had ended up making myself miserable on the job because everything had to go the way that I thought. Then I realized I work with people. We exist because sometimes people can't get this stuff together.
That's right.
So why am I driving myself crazy? Be flexible.
That's right.
And that was a long journey, but now.
Oh, you got an A in the class. I got an A plus.
I'm not gonna beat myself up.
I'm not beating myself up.
My intention was, but I physically don't have it. I emotionally don't have it.
Yeah.
And I think you have to be aware of those things.
Yeah. So what would you say is the difference between simply coping and, just like you said, going in that day and understanding what you need to do, but you're not self-rescuing?
So coping, right? I'm just trying to get through it. Not addressing the issue, not addressing any other factors that's a part of it, not really looking at any real change. It's literally about, right now I'm stressed and I need to get through it. That happened to me on the way here. I left Montgomery County at 11 and I got here at 12:55, and I'm like, and I'm not a traffic person at all. Everybody knows I got road rage. Not real road rage, but like traffic is not a friend of mine. And I had to cope. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm coming and I gotta smell, I gotta hold thing about it, right? Now, real change or self-rescuing is, I actually don't know what I could do with traffic because I can't control it. Right. You always said about traffic. I can't control traffic. But it could be maybe leaving a little earlier. Right. I thought 2 hours was enough time, but this is your first time in this area? So I've come through here, like coming from Richmond or like if I used to drive home before. I can't drive anymore. I'm old. I take flights now. but I used to drive home. I've been come down this way. And so I didn't recognize the funny thing is I didn't know how far away we were. But yeah, I had to cope to get through that, right? So self-rescuing could be action, right? Really recognizing that I don't like traffic. When I think about changing my mindset about traffic is, okay, I know it's here. If you live in the DMV area, it's here. If you got to drive at any time of day or night, you are going to deal with traffic. Like at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. I've driven home like after 12, like as far as like trying to go back to Alabama. After 12, it was traffic. I'm like, why are people out? Yeah, I should be at home, sleep. But it's one of those things you know it's going to happen. So instead of getting upset because I'm going to be faced with traffic, accept that I'm going to deal with traffic. So when I get in the car, I know it's happening.
And then the thing about that is the body keeps score. And so, I mean, as I said, if I still get anxiety without a doubt on certain things, but I have recognized my growth because the body keeps score. And I know that I will get anxious about things that, like, why? But you're right. If we recognize it, what can we do? Because I have this list, and I got a whole list that I have overcome and I can deal with right now. But the hardest part I think people don't understand is that the body literally keeps score. So what I believe, and you can tell me, just coping, it's the coping part is keeping score within the body.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not a game like basketball, you want the highest score. Because as we get older, then
it catches up with us.
It catches up
when
with
we
us.
turn at 100, we
That's
can't
right,
work.
and we can't work. We got to keep the news together.
We're going down. As my grandma used to say, just keep living, baby, right? That's what it becomes. It's about like just keep living. And so, like when you think about like that self-rescuing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Addressing the issues, right? Because they're not going to disappear. As I used to always say, and I even tell my clients, things you don't address, they don't go away. They just sit and grow, right? And everything else related to it is just piling on top of it. It's piling on top of it. And before you know it, it's something that you can't control because you didn't take the 5 or 10 minutes in most cases to actually address the issue.
Yeah.
And so you have to look at a mindset change. If there's no reason I should be stressed out every day that I'm going to face with that coworker that that we know cause issues at work.
Yeah.
So at some point, I have to just learn to accept it and not become so upset. Recognize their gain and get ahead of them.
Yeah. And then and that's another thing. So with my self-rescue strategies, I have a total of 7. 7 strategies that I have developed a response to those or a boundary within those, right? And being able to do that is just like that coworker. So when that coworker, does what that coworker does, I've learned to develop a response to that. And so I feel the difference in my body. Now, there are still things, of course, that I'm working on in my head, be like, have you lost your mind? And and I don't, and that's the thing, I'll be like, that's not going to change. And I was talking to someone else about that. That is not going to change with me. And it's certain things that give me who I am that I'm like, oh, I'm not working on that. And that's okay too. So I'm willing to take those shots and points because I've gone through some things that I know that, okay, I'm not changing this. I like this part of who I am, and I'm not going to readjust that. It may not be for everyone else, but it's something that I accept as who I am. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So when you think about some of those things that you do, like how do you start your day? Because I think that plays a huge part in kind of if we set the tone for our day. Yeah, it plays a huge part in kind of how it goes. Not to say it's not going to be challenges along the way.
Oh yeah.
But I'm a believer what you put in is what you get out. And so, like, if you're setting the tone with whatever kind of keeps you going,
that's it.
Throughout the day, mine is prayer, my worship music. But everybody else's could be anything else. And if it helps, then if you set the tone for the day, for the most part, you able to get through those challenges that pop up. Because 8 times out of 10, it's not new challenges. It's not something you hadn't seen before.
Right.
So if I keep running against the wall, at what point do I either go a different direction or recognize it's a wall?
That's true.
Look for a door.
That's
right?
true.
So it's about, I know. So let me do something different. I keep doing the same thing and I'm getting the same results, but then I'm frustrated about the results.
Yeah. And that's why, like most of my days, I'm good because my routine is I wake up in the morning, I get my coffee, I go on the deck, I read scripture, or I just listen to nature. I go to my garden. I do all of those things before I even pick up that phone most of the time, unless I have something I got to be out the door by 8 o'clock for or whatever. But when I can have a 10 o'clock meeting or something like that, I might have to leave or whatever, that is me. I have to do that because if I don't, my body keeps score personally. So, but that was learned for me. And waking up, picking up the phone and looking at social media and checking emails and stuff like that, that makes me anxious. And so I've learned in that way that I can't do that. So, and I absolutely love that manifestation for myself because it makes it easier and easier. I was just somewhere today and they was like, Gigi, I messaged you on Facebook and that was weeks ago. I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't see it. Yeah. But I'm going to do better. So one of the final questions I have for you, I have 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
For someone listening who feels ashamed of getting lost, right? In the first place, what would you want them to know today? If they're getting lost within themselves and they don't have anyone to share with, or they don't feel like they have anyone to grow with, what would you tell them?
So I don't think that there's a such thing as necessarily getting lost.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're on a journey, right?
Yeah.
And I think from birth to death is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And life is a culmination of our experiences. Now, the issue is what you do with those experiences, right? That's where I think a lot of people are stuck. Because if we look at it's interesting, as I've always said, a lot of things that I've experienced that I thought that I would never get through. In that moment, I look back and I'm like, oh, I made it.
I made it.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
Like,
I always say 100% of the time when I think about it and I look back, I have made through every single solitary thing that happened to me 100% of the
you're sitting
time.
here, right? You sit here today, right?
Exactly.
Because
And I'm breathing.
If you had not, you would still be back there. And that's why I always tell people when it comes to the past is a frame of reference.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a place to live. And when you live back there, I promise every time you're going to get the results of back there.
That's right.
So if you find yourself stuck or if you find yourself lost, then I think you got to recognize that, again, when we talked earlier, usually for every problem we have the solution too. And it's about what do we do with the solution. Are we going to take the chance and get something different? Or are we going to continue to let fear rule?
Mm-hmm.
And when you let fear rule, then it does feel like stuck.
Yeah.
It does feel like lost, right? And so it's one of those things that...
Or the wilderness.
Yeah, right. It's one of those things that we have to be willing to take a chance on.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's scary a lot of times because maybe in the past when we took a chance, it didn't turn out like we expected.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, the interesting thing is most people don't take chances on themselves. Mm-hmm. They take chances on other people.
Oof. Preach.
And when we take it on other people, the other dynamic is the other person, right? And so we associate our success and failure
mm-hmm.
when it comes to taking a chance based on something that another person was 50% responsible for.
Yeah.
And so you have to take it on yourself. That's when we talk about self-rescue. It's not somebody throwing me a life raft. It's me finding a life raft to get myself to where I need to be. Or it's me, like I can't swim. I almost drowned in Cabo.
Sydney's an amazing swimmer. Me, not so much.
But when what was it, the jet ski flipped over, I found some, my life vest would not, it was not keep me out of the water. But somehow I made it back to that turned over jet ski, and I just sat in the ocean. And the funny thing is I was sitting out there, I called my sisters out, I was like, y'all, I came all the way to Mexico today. I could have did this in Maryland. Like I said, I could have did this in Maryland. But I came ahead of that. And I literally thought that was the end of me out there in that ocean.
I'm not laughing.
No, I sat back and laughed like
I can see you.
I had all kind of thoughts. I was like a shark gonna come and bite my leg. So I was like, it was everything I could think of. But it was one of those things where I had to do what I had to do in that moment because the life vest, the thing that I was dependent on if I got in the water was not working. Mm-hmm. And so I had to figure out how to catch a hold of something. Yeah. So that's what it's about, catching a hold of something when you're feeling lost. And sometimes we don't have it within ourselves and we have to depend on our support circle, our dog, like each other, right? And we have to figure out how do we make it. And so if you feel like you're in the wilderness, even in the wilderness, you're surrounded by something. And so, as we talk about, sometimes we won't want food or we don't know what to eat. Mm-hmm. You're in the wilderness, it's a lot to choose from, right? So when you see it, look at your resources and then try to make decisions based on what's in front of you, your resources that are in front of you, or internal, external.
Yeah. Or reach out to you.
Yeah, you can reach out to me.
To help you get there.
And we're going to try. We'll try. There's no promises, but we're going to try. We'll get you where you want to be.
Awesome. Yes, he will, for sure. So I have the final question for you. On my podcast, one of my self-rescue strategies is music, and I absolutely love music. And music, depending on the genre or whatever, my moods and all of that, I have it all worked out. So if there was a song that we can attach to this podcast that would help people not only hear what you've said and what we've talked about, but they could also feel your words in a song that would mean, that is important to you, that we could connect this to the podcast.
So, and this artist, she is not the original singer of this song, but she covers it. And probably about, it's got to be probably a month at this point, maybe a month or two. Her name is Jordan Welch, and she covers this song. That is, the title of the song is "I Surrender," and I can't think of who is the original artist, but her version is just like, is every morning.
I love the title.
Every morning I get up. That is actually what I get up to when I'm showering and getting ready for the day. That's what I'm listening to, and it starts, "Lord, here's my life. I lay it all down. Just give me Jesus." That's it.
Yeah.
That's who I've had to depend on my entire life. And yeah, that's it. Every morning.
Yeah.
I do not go a morning without listening to
that. I have a whole playlist, and one that would fit this one, it was a part of the main song for Purple Runway, and I never can remember this woman's name because it's the only song I know by her. But I'll put it in the information, but it's called She's a Warrior. So for the wilderness, that song would be, she sings something like, she is a warrior, there's nothing going to bring her down, and God's got her. And so I think for this episode, as we talked about the wilderness and self-rescuing, she is a warrior. Thank you, Steve.
Absolutely. It's always good to see you. I told you every time we get together, I have a good time. I have a good time.
So thank you guys for watching today, and I hope that we were able to provide you some excitement to get you started on your self-rescue journey.
I just hope that between what we've shared with you, you can find some support there and know that there are communities and there are specialists in his own way to be able to help you identify what that looks like. Of course, we are here at Purple Runway. We would love to help you self-rescue if that is something that you're looking forward to. But understand that, just like Stephen said, it starts with us individually and owning what we're going to do. We can always find support in the right place, but you know what? We have to step up first to be able to do that. I really, really appreciate Stephen for being here, and I can't wait for the next time. Because I think I want to talk about vulnerability with you, yes. Because you know what, I'm getting into my vulnerability even more.
Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Let's go.
We'll learn together.
We're gonna learn together.
There you go.
Bye. Have a good one.
This podcast is an extension of Purple Runway, where we honor survivors, celebrate their courage, and amplify the voices that are often go unheard. Whether you're a survivor, a supporter, an advocate, or someone still finding their way, you're not alone, and this space is for you.
Thank you for listening. The Beautifully Unfiltered podcast is brought to you by...
One of the things that keeps great leaders up at night is how to take a solid team and make them better. Well, we can help you figure all that out. Learn as a team, grow as a team, and have fun doing it. At BlueStallion Solutions, we meet you where you're at and we take you where you want to go. BlueStallion Solutions isn't just a company, it's a movement. Ride with us today.